Hi everybody, welcome to 70 by 70 Retirement. I'm Petra.
And I'm Josh.
And today we're going to do our check-in, our weekly check-in, although it's really more like bi-weekly check-in.
Bi-weekly.
Hi, we're Josh and Petra, early retirees traveling the world slowly while sharing honest insights about retirement and life on the road. Join us and share in the journey.
We are kind of at the home stretch, guys, and we've gotten a lot accomplished. We still have some more things to do as well, and we're going to let you know those things. So if you are new here, welcome. To those of you that have been following along, we really appreciate you and joining our journey.
All right, so what did we get completed over the last 2 weeks? There is no doubt a measure of things that we have completed that is not on this list. It's actually a bit longer than it's been in the past. One of the things that we actually did, we got a Chase Bank checking account, and then during the initial conversation with the banker about that account, I came to a very delayed but definitive acknowledgement that their checking was not going to work for us. The key factor was that he said that if we were online checking our accounts regularly in an area or location outside the United States, we would be flagged and they would close the account, and the only way we could get it reopened was to go back to the United States in person to get it reopened. Yeah. And he said this during our meeting, and I remember thinking, you know, this isn't going to work for us. And I'm on my phone looking for what will work instead, which turned out to be Fidelity Investments. Yeah. However, I didn't at the time think, you know, we just don't need this account. So we ended up going back and closing it.
Yeah.
A couple days later.
You know, and because we were there, we were setting it up, and he was saying these things, and we did kind of have this thought, you know, like this is really more of a backup account. So it's kind of like we'll have money here for like just in case, like emergency situations or things like that. Not something that we may actually use regularly. However, you still want to check your balances and, you know, things like that. And, you know, and plus they just didn't have like, it was going to cost money to withdraw from the ATM, and there are foreign transaction fees. Yeah. And again, initially I think we were like, well, we're not going to be using it that much. I think it's going to be okay. And then we just
emergency fund. But I mean, honestly, I think if we would have tried to withdraw $15,000 at one time from a foreign bank, they probably would have locked that down and said no way. Even if we would have called them, they'd have been like, well, sorry, we can't do anything about it. That's just not going to work for us. And we just decided it was too much of a hassle.
And so we will be going to South Dakota and establishing our residency there. If you want to check out our travel channel, we have done have posted a video about what was supposed to be a trip to Mount Rushmore and the Badlands that went sideways. But part of that trip also was going to Rapid City to change our residency from Indiana to South Dakota and talk about that whole process and why we were doing that. Mm-hmm. Another thing that we completed is, yay, we're under contract with our house.
Yes.
We were on the market for 19 days when we got an offer, and we moved pretty quickly through the negotiating, although there was a little bit more back and forth than we kind of anticipated with, you know, counter offers and things like that. And the home inspection has been completed. Mm-hmm. And now, you know, we're just waiting for closing. So we're very excited about that. And I think we're excited because it was only 19 days on the market. The market is changing. It's not that you know, generally speaking, the buyers are not feeling as maybe pressured right now to make an offer immediately, like they feel like they have time.
Yeah.
It's still technically a buyer's market, but it is shifting.
Yeah.
So we're very happy that we were only on the market 19 days.
Yeah. So there must be like a lot more houses on the market and fewer buyers maybe, and that's why there's just not this demand for the buyer to put in an offer right away for fear that they won't get a chance later.
Yeah.
We had a lot of people who said, let me know when you get an offer, which is what we did, and we really didn't hear from them again, and it's not unlike going, we used to do shows where people would come by and look at your stuff.
Like craft shows.
And they, if they didn't buy immediately, you almost guarantee they weren't going to come back.
Sometimes they did.
Yeah,
They would
periodically.
say, I'm going to come back, and then they
But
don't.
the majority of them didn't, and they just talked themselves out of it. And that was kind of what we were experiencing with the house sale also. People were they were interested, but not interested enough.
Yeah.
Anyway, we did get the offer within 3 weeks, which is good, especially because they wanted to move forward on it quickly, and now we can close by the end of the month like we had hoped. And
in the end, we just feel like it was the right buyers. That's what we needed, was the right buyer.
We really just needed the right person to come along and say, this is going to work for me.
Yep.
And that's what happened. So fingers crossed nothing else happens. We make it to the finish line, we get to closing, and we can move forward with the first stages of our travel plans.
Yeah, and so now that our house, we're under contract, we're pending, so I don't have any other people coming to view, we were able to start selling our remaining items on the marketplace. It was very difficult to do. We had to kind of shut that down while the house was on the market because I can't schedule a time for them to come and look at and pick up things when at any moment I could get
That's right.
a request to come look at the house. And really at that point in time, the house is more important, so you have to give that priority. And we only requested a 2-hour notice, and so we can't be there. They're coming to look and view the house. So now that is passed, and I can finish up. We really honestly don't have that much left.
The house is pretty bare, but for the few things that we do have left, one of the things that I am going to enjoy is actually kind of getting a bit lazy again and leaving things out. Not having to put away the computer every time I use it. Not having to
dry the shower.
Dry the shower after using it. Putting away my toothbrush after I use it. Things like that. Just little stuff. But yeah, that's gonna be. It's nice to not have to be so anal, really, about or uptight about being clean. So that helps. So other things that we've completed. Let's see. We've got everything booked on our travel except for 3 days in December. That is hard to fathom. It is 8 months. 8 months of places to live are booked and set. Now, we are still going to be flexible. A lot of this we booked intentionally to make sure that we could cancel this stuff if we had to at any time. And of course, the way the world goes really does kind of dictate what we're allowed to do and what we're not. And so hopefully we won't have to change any of our plans, and we'll get to still go everywhere we wanted to go and do all the things we wanted to do. But we can also change if we have to. But just knowing that all the homes and hotels are all booked and settled except for 3 days in December, I'm happy with that. We can now start moving forward on some other stuff, some more important things, but not as important as making sure we knew where we were going to be and how much that was going to cost. Since housing is like the fundamentally the most expensive part of travel.
Yeah. So other things that we kind of completed, the next thing is our South Dakota residency, which really hasn't been completed. I know we talked about something a little bit earlier, but that was the intention of going to South Dakota, was to change our residency. They have a favorable residency for people like RVers or digital nomads. So we will still become residents of South Dakota just a little bit later. So we did attempt it. It hasn't technically been completed, but we're still going to be doing that.
Yeah. We did sell my car instead.
So I guess that's
That
good.
was the backup plan. Actually, that's what resulted as a result of this trip that did not get where we wanted to go. So our mode of transportation did not, well, let's just say it didn't want to go where we wanted it to. And so we ended up deciding to sell it 4 weeks in advance.
Yeah. The other thing is, with the time that we have remaining in Indianapolis, we have made plans with my family. They're going to come back over to visit. And during that visit, our nephew lives with us right now, but we'll be moving him to his new apartment. And then really kind of saying goodbye to my family until we see them in December, because they'll be coming over to Europe for Christmas market river cruise. So it's kind of the weekend for them. And so we've got that arranged, what weekend they're going to come, kind of planning the dates, get my nephew moved, and doing some kind of last minute stuff in Indianapolis, like places that we want to go and experience with our family.
And on that note, we are putting together what is, in effect, a bit of a swan song to Indianapolis, some places that we really have enjoyed or come to enjoy the most in our older years. In Indianapolis, we're going to be producing a video collection of places that we would recommend to anybody who wanted to come visit the city.
Yeah, it's kind of like our farewell to Indy. Okay, so what's coming up next? Well, of course, the closing. At the end of the month, we'll be closing on the house, and they get immediate possession of that. So, I think working out the details of, are we going to stay one last night in Indy on that day, or are we immediately flying out later in the day then to go visit our other family? But we have to replan also our trip to South Dakota somewhere within that time, because once we leave Indianapolis, we have about 3 weeks before we leave the United States.
Yeah.
So besides visiting family, now we have to kind of replan that trip to South Dakota.
So let's see. I guess there's still a 3-day icebreaker trip those are the 3 days in December we haven't really booked yet. Is we have to figure out where we're going to have to be in order to be on that icebreaker in Finland. And once that's solved, then we'll have a place to stay. Let's see. The other thing that we're going to be booking is transportation between family members and timing of all of that. I'm going to still have to go see the optometrist and my doctor one last time. These are just appointments that, honestly, they just are coming up on the schedule, and I would have to go do them. I have to go see the dentist one more time. That one I don't mind. I think it's just a cleaning anyway. I was trying to think. There was one more thing that popped into my head. Now I can't remember. Darn it. What else was there?
Oh. We also, now that we have our accommodations set, like we know where we're going to be. Sorry about that, Josh.
It's okay. Nobody can tell that anything is happening.
We now it's coordinating that transportation in between those places. So we're going to be coming into Europe to Barcelona, and we need to get to Rome. So we, we'll be booking that. We looked at flights the other day. We just hadn't booked it, so we'll be booking that. So in between those places is the next kind of the step that we'll be doing
Right.
to come up.
Right. One of the things that we do intend to do, though, also is in the future, is to put together a little spreadsheet for everybody to see, our monthly expense plans, and how much we do intend to or have spent on our housing for the 8 months that we'll be in Europe.
Anything unexpected? Well, you kind of heard us mention the car fiasco on our trip to South Dakota. So that was definitely unexpected.
That's the second time that's happened to us.
On a long trip.
On a long trip where the car broke down.
Yes.
And actually, the first time it happened, we traded in the old car for the car that broke down this time.
Five
It
years
was
ago.
it was kind of a similar event, so
Yeah.
bad luck, I suppose.
I know, right? Don't go driving on long events with this guy.
That's right.
The other kind of unexpected thing, really, for me, I think, was the negotiation in the purchasing of the house. Not really knowing what's important to them, but we knew what was important, to us in the negotiation. I mean, we got it worked out, but it went back and forth several times. And I guess maybe I just didn't really expect that, honestly. But in the end, it all worked out, and it's okay. And then just a closing thought is that, honestly, like, we started this journey a year ago, basically to get ready to go. And it has been stressful at times, with everything that we were doing to get ready to go, plus on top of our normal life and jobs. But now we feel like we can see the horizon, and we still have things to do to get done to go. But just knowing that it's coming so soon, not only or at least for me, I'm super excited, but also it's, you're a little nervous, or I am at least a little nervous, because it's new. We've traveled to 40, I actually counted them up the other day, 49 countries in the past, so we're not new to traveling, but this isn't vacation. This is a new life. And so for me, I'm very excited to do this, but at the same time, a little nervous, because what I think I expect, I don't know if that is what it will turn out to be.
Yeah, I'm feeling a lot of stress over the last few things we have to get accomplished, thinking about how little time we have to do it, and then anxious to get going on that next step. I mean, I spent 11 months now thinking about doing something. That's hard to do. That is really hard to do, to make plans that far in advance and then have to wait and bide your time.
Yeah.
I've been very good about kind of keeping it together and not letting my emotions get the better of me. I am sure that down towards the very last few days, it's going to be hard to do that, even for me. I can hold in my emotions pretty well, but I think down the stretch it's going to be tough. And I do look, though, very forward to getting out and getting moving and starting this new adventure.
Yeah.
With Petra.
Yeah. So thank you guys so much for joining us, listening to our updates, following along with our journey. We're so glad that you've joined us for that. If you haven't already subscribed and you would like to follow along, please go ahead and give a thumbs up on the video, subscribe to our channel. Feel free to leave us any comments if you have been through this process before. Maybe we, in our weekly update videos, maybe haven't mentioned something that, if you've done this process, might be helpful. And turn on your notification bell, so then you will get notified when we put out a new video. So thank you guys, and we will see you next time, and we will also see you in person. Bye.
yes, thank you for coming back and helping us. I guess not helping us anything. We'll just cut that part out. Take care, guys. Sorry, Petra. I didn't mean to block your view.
You jokester.